In this next lesson, we're going to take it up a notch, and I'm going to show you how by making some selections and separating your image, you can add atmosphere on either side of your image, and that gives you a better ability to control the depth of your image. So by separating out the elements and adding atmosphere in between them, you create this better sense of depth, and I'm going to show you how you can do that with this next project. Let's get started. All right, let's go to File, Open, and in the Lesson 2 assets, we're going to find this Lydia One-Shik from Unsplash. Let's go ahead and open that. All right, so in this, we're going to do a similar thing to the last tutorial where we're going to add an overlay of light here. But for this image, I actually want to cut out the hamburger and the knife and then put the overlay both behind and in front of it. So we get this appearance that it is in the middle of the atmosphere rather than in front of it. So the first thing we need to do is cut out the burger and the knife. Now the problem is there's not a lot of contrast between this knife and the background. So using the select subject is not going to do a great job, as you can see here. This button here is Quick Mask, and what Quick Mask does is it takes your selection and turns it into a temporary overlay. You could kind of perceive it as basically a color overlay that's representing your selection. So let's go ahead and click that. The shortcut for that, by the way, is Q for Quick Mask. And here you can see everything in pink represents what is not selected, and everything that is not in pink represents what is in my selection. So it's actually done a decent job of selecting the hamburger, but it has done a rather terrible job of selecting the knife. So let's hit Q again and let's go deselect. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the pen tool to draw a vector around this knife and then use that to turn it into a selection. So let's go ahead and make a copy of our layer. And with my pen tool, which is right here, I want to make sure it's on path, not shape. And then I'm going to zoom in here and basically just click, and that's going to add an anchor point. And wherever else I click, it's going to make a line between those two anchor points. So that is essentially how the pen tool works. Now, there's a few other things to know about the pen tool. The first is that with the pen tool, you can actually create arcs like this. And the arc is created by these handles, right? So this is our anchor point. These handles represent how that anchor point is affecting the line before and after it. I like to imagine that there's a rubber band tied from the end of this point to the middle of this line. So this line right here, imagine a rubber band tied from here to the middle of this line. So if I move this up, you can see that the rubber band is pulling it. And the further I pull it, the more it pulls, right? So just imagine that rubber band there from the middle of this line to here. So if I want a slight curve, I'm just going to pull it up like this, and I want that line to be just there. Now, if I want the middle of this curve arch to be higher, I would pull this higher, and you can see that that arch is being pulled there. So that's one way. That's just kind of a way I wrap my head around it. The more you use this tool, the more intuitive it will become. I know that some people have a hard time figuring out how this curve will be affected by the handles, but the more you use it, the easier it will become. All right, so in this case, I just want a little curve like that. Now, if I make a next line, the next part of my curve is going to be affected by this line, which I don't want. So let me Control Z. What I can do is if I click here, hold down Option, it's going to cut off that handle. And whatever I do next won't be affected by it. Here you can see I'm doing this relatively fast just because I have a lot of practice. As a general rule, when you're using the curves, the less anchor points you can make, the better. So in this case, if I can make one anchor point here and then use the handles to determine this curve, I'll get a nicer curve. I'm going to hold down Option to cut that off there and then just keep going. And there you can see I've now made a path around the entire knife. So to turn this into a selection with the path selected, which you can see because these are filled in dots as opposed to white dots. And if I go on the path selection tool and click outside of it, you can see those anchor points are no longer showing. Here you can see they are once I've selected the path. Also, this direct selection tool allows you to select segments. You can see I've selected this segment, so the handles for that segment are showing, or I can select an anchor point. And again, you can see that the handles for that anchor point are now showing when I click on it. So that's what this path selection tool is for. But there I have the whole path selected, and I can right mouse click and say make selection. And here I can add a feather radius. It's already anti-aliased, so if you just leave it at 0, that's normally fine. But in this case, there's, probably a few pixels of feathering there. So let's do 0.2. This is one of the few places in Photoshop where you can do a fraction of a pixel. So let's hit OK. Zoom out. And as you can see, it's actually selected everything outside. I could just invert this, but I'd rather just fix my path. So let's go ahead and deselect. Command D is the deselect shortcut. And let's go ahead and pick our path again. And you'll notice this right here. This kind of represents how your path is acting. So in this case, as you can see here, everything is selected except the knife because it's subtracting from the front shape, and the front shape in this case is your entire document. So if I just want to do combine shapes, you can see that's changed now and only the knife is white. And that's how you want it to look. So this is the one to use. We'll go into in a different lesson what these other ones are for, but for now just use the combined shapes, and then we can go make selection again, hit OK, and you can see just the knife is selected now. All right, so let's click on this, and we now have just our knife in its own layer. Next, I'm going to do just the burger. So let's go ahead and make another copy of this. I'm going to turn off these two copies. And for this, I'm going to use one of the new tools in Photoshop, and that is the Object Selection tool. And this works very similarly to the Select Subject, except for you're telling it, you're kind of pre-cropping the image and saying, hey, I want you to do a select subject, but I want you to do it only in this area that I've outlined. So there you can see it's selected the hamburger, which is what I circled or, put my selection around. So it's done a halfway decent job, but we're going to clean this up a little. So let's go to our select and mask, and we can see right here. So I'm going to go to my quick selection tool. You'll notice it's on plus right now. That's its default behavior. But if I hold down Option, it'll temporarily go to the minus. So that's without Option. That's with Option. You can see that's changing there. So I'm just with that. I'm going to go in here and deselect that area, and then without holding Option, I'm going to select the rest of this avocado here, and and that's pretty good. All right, now I'm going to turn on the smart radius here, and I'm going to pump that up to 4 pixels, maybe even more on this image, because this has gone out of focus here. So let's leave it at 7 pixels and hit OK. And we're going to add a mask to that. Okay, so here we have 2 layers, and I really don't need this to be 2 layers. It could just be 1 layer, or sorry, 1 layer with 1 mask. So how do we combine these 2 masks? Well, to look at the mask independent of the layers, hold down Option and click on it. And there you can see my mask. Now to select this, what I can do is hold down Command, and you'll notice that little selection box appears next to my cursor there. If I click on it, I've now turned that white into a selection. And now I can click on this second mask and just fill this in with white. So let's go Edit, Fill, and I want to use background color because my background color is white, and hit OK. And there you go. And the shortcut for that, let's undo. The shortcut to fill in with your foreground color is Option Delete. And let's do Command Z. To fill in with your background color is Command Delete. So those are shortcuts that you use all the time, so best to remember those. Option Delete to fill in with the foreground color, Command Delete to fill in with the background color. All right, we're going to do Command D to deselect, and I can throw away this one. And let's go ahead and turn off the viewing. There you go. All right. So if I option click on this mask, I can see it, but if I shift click, I can turn it off. And if I option shift click on it, I can view it as a quick mask or an overlay. So those are some shortcuts to know. On a PC, it's going to be the alternative PC keys, but otherwise the behavior will be the same. All right. Now with that on its own layer, which we can call burger, I'm going to select the background, and I'm going to do, actually I'm going to add a curve first. I just want to push this more toward a warm color because I'm going to add some blue atmosphere here, and I want it to be a complementary kind of warm and cool. So let's add a curve, and to make this warmer I need to add yellow and red. So I'm going to go to blue. The opposite of blue is yellow. So if I pull this curve down, it's going to add some yellow. And then I can go to my red and just add a bit of red. And you can see that's making that background just a little warmer there. All right, next I'm going to go to File, Place Embedded. And I want to use this Nuclei Nebulosity 39. And let's go ahead and scale it. I'm holding Option as I do this to scale from the middle. And then I'm going to right mouse click and say flip horizontal. It's kind of where I want my ray coming from. I'm going to put this on screen, and I'm going to change the opacity to 50%. Just like that. And then I'm going to make a copy of this and put it in front of. So now it's 50% of the rays are in front and 50% of the rays are in the back, and I kind of like that. I think probably it's a little too strong on the knife, and what I can do is I can add a mask just to this top one, Command click on my bottom mask, and then using a big brush with the flow still set at 25 and black as my color, I can just paint right here. Just like that. So there you can see that mask, if I option click on the mask, is hiding a little bit of that foreground atmosphere. So that looks pretty good. Now for this one, I don't want this light to be white. I want it to be kind of a cyany blue. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on this layer, do Image, Adjustments, Curves. And one of the advantages of using an overlay like this as opposed to just a brush with all this being white is because this is many iterations of gray. So there's basically no pure white in here. When I manipulate it with my channels, it's actually going to add or subtract color to it. Whereas if it was just pure white with various levels of transparency, I can't change the color of white, but I can change the color of gray. So let's go to red, and the opposite of red is cyan. So if I pull down some red, it's going to add cyan to this, like that. And then maybe let's go to blue and just add some blue. That's going to make it a kind of a more cool blue as opposed to cyan. All right, so that's the color I wanted. Now I want to apply those same colors to this. Because this is a placed object, Photoshop is treating it as a smart object with smart filters, and I can copy these onto that layer by holding down Option Command and then dragging those effects to that top layer, and you can see it is now applied to those top layers. The one other thing I want to do with this image is I want the top version here to kind of cut off right there, so it looks like this back ray that's out of focus ends here and this ray here continues. So to do that, I'm going to go ahead and make a selection that goes just like this. So from behind the burger to where that table is. Now you can see I want this part of the selection to come down here. Now I could use a lasso tool, but a nice thing about selections in Photoshop is if you right mouse click them, you can actually transform them. So there you go. I'm not transforming my layer, I'm just transforming my selection. So what I can do is hold down Command, just grab on this little anchor point here and drag it down like this. And then hit OK. And then what I'm going to do is, well, what I want to do is I want to add it to this mask. My worry is if I do that, it's going to have a sharp line, and I don't want that. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to put this in a folder. And this is kind of a hack to create two masks affecting one layer. So now what I can do is hold down Option, add a mask, and by holding down Option, it's basically going to invert the mask based on my selection. So if I have this area selection, it's going to hide that area as opposed to revealing it. And then on my properties panel here, I can go to my mask and just increase the feather until this line looks good, which is right about there. All right, so now we don't have that hard line anymore, and I'm pretty happy with that. Last thing I want to do is just where this light is hitting this knife, I kind of want to glow to the knife. So to do that, I'm going to take this layer here, make a copy of it. I'm going to apply the layer mask. So let's do that. So there you can see there's no longer a mask, but that layer is just the hamburger. All right, then I'm going to do Command M to bring up my curve, and I'm going to take the darks down a lot. So I just have my highlights, and then I'm going to push those highlights up just a little. So right about there. Hit OK. I'm going to change the blend mode on this to screen, and then I'm going to go to Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur. And let's put this on 50. You can see now we get that appearance of it glowing. I don't really want it so much here. I mainly want it on the knife. So I'm going to add a mask again, and then with a soft brush, black is my foreground color, flow of 25, I can just brush out where I don't want it here. All right, that looks pretty good. Very last thing I might do is just add a color gradient or a color grade to the whole thing. I'm going to do that with a curve. Go to my red, pull down the cyan in the shadow areas, pump it up a little bit in the highlights, and then do the same with blue. I'm going to bring up the bottom of the blue and then bring down the top. And I'm happy with that. So here you can see the before and the after.